Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. There are no hidden meanings. There's no secret. Everything is absolutely present and utterly obvious. If there is a readiness for a completely impersonal and unencumbered, uncomplicated message to be heard, might call it heart to heart, or no self to no self, if there is a readiness, and it will not be your readiness, it's not anyone's readiness, it's just a readiness that arises as a part of the functioning of the entire apparent manifestation. If there's readiness, then perhaps there will arise the gift of unknowing. This gift of unknowing can occur as a sense of powerlessness, but a profound powerlessness where there is no person who is powerless, but rather just a recognition that what's happening is what's happening, and it wasn't caused by any you or me. It is an impersonal happening. It is nothing appearing as everything, the absolute appearing as the relative. So this message is not about path or practice. It's not about studying scripture, following gurus. It's not about going to meetings. It's not about chanting or meditation or guru seva. It's not about anything at all. What this message is pointing to is something that the seeker cannot possibly ever understand. Sometimes people have said, it's really hard to understand this. No, it's impossible to understand this, because understanding is a product of something that's not actually real. It's like trying to understand what's happening in a dream at night. And there might be understanding that, in this dream at night and in sleep, if I don't step out of the way, that bus is going to run over me. And so I understand that I must avoid the destruction of me by not stepping in front of the bus. But then you wake from the dream and it's what me? What bus? And this unknowing, in which there is apparent knowing or not knowing, is absolute. So words can be useful only as pointers. The moment we take the words to be a codified truth, we have stepped right back into the dream, so to speak. So this is it. What is and isn't. It both is and is not. Incomprehensible, indescribable. These utterances are appearing in what we're pointing at. So if there is a readiness to hear that this message is devoid of absolutely any trace of hope for the individual, the reason being is that the individual is merely a dream character, it doesn't have any real existence. If there's a readiness, then there may be a palpable sense of, call it a taste of freedom. This treasure, this gift of unknowing is a true freedom It is a freedom from all effort and struggle. Effort and struggle for the body still may go on. Thoughts still happen. Emotions still arise. Happiness, sadness, frowny faces, smiley faces. All that is possible is anything is possible in the appearance. So in this apparent manifestation, this ocean of wholeness, there appear to be waves of not wholeness. The wave, as in the painting of the ocean behind me, has a beginning, a duration, and an end in the appearance. But what's the wave made of? Isn't the wave made of the same water as the ocean? Was it ever separate from the ocean? No. So this is wholeness. This is unicity. And these words are not it. They point. Much deeper than the words is the timeless essence, which is no self, no person, non-individual, undivided and indivisible. And in the undivided, indivisible unicity, there is the appearance of separate entities with choice and free will who seem to make decisions and have volition and are able to make plans and carry those plans out. But if there's a readiness, then perhaps it will become glaringly obvious that nobody knows what will happen next. At this next instant, you might die. Your body might die, in which case you will die, or you might die, and the body continue to live for some span in the appearance of time and space. So here there's a space of unknowing. This space of unknowing, when ignorance meets the space of unknowing, it can shake the foundations of that which thinks it knows, that which thinks it's separate, that which thinks it's real. And in the shaking of that foundation, there may appear to be some real vulnerability and perhaps a deep insecurity. And that vulnerability and insecurity can arise as a sense of, I must protect myself in order to survive. And walls are built around this imaginary self, which is now all about surviving as an entity. It's like trying to keep the dream a dream at night. We've all had what are commonly known perhaps as wet dreams. Dream, you wake up from the dream, you try to go back to sleep to get the dream going again. It's so great. And then there are other dreams that are like nightmares, and you relieved when you wake up because you've just driven off a cliff and you're sailing down toward the rocks, terrified. And then body wakes up and, it was just a dream. So this, quote, awakening from, quote, bondage is only a story that appears that wholeness tells itself in a way just for sport. Wouldn't it be boring to be pure peace all the time? Wouldn't you, if you were pure peace all the time, wouldn't you want to invent some game to forget yourself so that you could have the great fun and joy of finding yourself again? I had a t-shirt once that said, I've gone to find myself. if I'm not back before I return, keep me here. Years ago, when the seeking was in full swing, someone asked me what I was doing, reading all the books and going to all the meetings and so on, chanting, meditating, etc. What are you doing? I said, well, I'm trying to find myself. And this young woman looked at me astonished and said, well, how could you lose yourself? Aren't you here? And there was not a readiness to hear that. When the readiness arose, it was seen that this is it. That all there is what is. And that what is perfect. It's the absolute perfection of every imperfection. It's the absolute unconditional love of the relative appearances of both love and hate. Happiness, sadness, anger, rage, joy. All these human emotions are simply waves in the ocean of beingness which you are. And the notion that the me idea can somehow deconstruct itself is a very quaint one. If the me doesn't exist, how can it discover its own absence? And of course, it's all well and good when the discovery or the uncovering of the unreality of the me has happened as a natural apperception out of nowhere. It's like the sudden awakening from your dream at night with the relief of, oh, I'm not driving over a cliff and about to die. When this happens, there are a couple of things that want to be said about that. Number one, it doesn't happen to you. It didn't happen to me. This is just a body-mind with noise coming out of the north end of it. Sounds. Just sounds. And so, in this is itness, this what isness, there is no bondage, there is no liberation, there is no awakening, there is no one to awaken. There's only what is. This is it. No hidden meanings, no secret, nothing is kept from you, everything is in plain sight, in plain view. Look around. Whatever you see, that's it. What's happening in the body? Emotions arising, thoughts happening, perhaps trying to figure out what's this old man trying to tell me. All of that is what's happening. That's all it is. Thoughts come and go. The ocean waves. That's what is.